Welcome back, and with us now live over the phone is Mr. Amr Abdel Rahman, the political and economic analyst. Good morning, Mr. Abdel Rahman.
Well, good morning to you. I'm even more delighted.
A good day to you, sir. So, as we can say, we are now living in a world full of challenges and full of crises from every front. To what extent do you see the directives of the political leadership under the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi pave the way to be able to empower and enforce women and youth inside the political and economic wheel?
To have a view of the efforts and the steps and the decisions that was made by Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi concerning the matter of youth and women and all the powers of the society can never be apart from the bigger picture, the main strategy, which is launching all the powers of the society. As we have the spirit that was cultivated or recultivated with the June 30 revolution, as well as we have regained Egypt and trying to build the new republic, and that can never be built without the true efforts and the joint efforts by all sectors of the society. Together, men, women, children, we have a huge responsibility. And I believe that the main spirit here is to work as soldiers in each and every post of us. The man in his factory, the woman in her home or at her work, the students, each and every citizen of Egypt should realize the fact that we are created as soldiers. The best. That's why we are the best soldiers on earth. That's what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has mentioned about our own army. That's the main spirit, the main title for our work, for our achieving success. Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has led the nation, the Egyptian nation, towards the horizon of independence. We are the very first nation and state, a country that takes the independence vision diplomatically, economically, when we first changed the course of our own diplomacy and our relations with our associates or the international powers all at once, changing our direction from a follower to the West into an independent country, taking the best interests from their relations with either the East, with our relations with Russia, with North Korea, with China, with Far East in Asia, or our own relations with the West, the EU, the US, whatsoever. And the most important thing, I believe, that was accomplished in this matter was regaining our own relations with our own roots, our own brothers in roots and in blood in Africa, in enhancing on this relation, this path that we have regained our own relations with the African continent, that we were cut from deliberately for even more than 30 or 25 years. We have it again. We have led the African Union successfully, and we are throughout our own relations with our friends and brothers in Africa, we are We are challenging the huge and the most important threat to us as Egyptians, which is, of course, the Nile and the water file, our own the most important national security file, which concerning the water, the Nile waters and our rights in it. Throughout strong relations with our associates and brothers in Africa, we can sort out any problem. We can find new cards to use, new doors to open, and new solutions to achieve our goals without any conflict.
Right. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have given and have always been giving his directives for the government and the state's institutions to develop and train youth in the best way and effect the means before youth eyes to sustainable development goals of 2030 and 2063. And we have seen the youth conferences, the youth institutions, upgrading of universities, education, and also the vocational training when it comes to governments, different governments all over Egypt. All these efforts are collaborating to be able to empower youth. If you like to elaborate.
Youth are the main asset for the future. And youth, they deserve each and every drop of sweat and each and every step that Mr. President has successfully achieved. But they need more, they want more, and they deserve more. Always they deserve more. They demand more always. That's why they are youth. They have the ambition to achieve more and to be bigger and wiser. And Egypt deserves to have the best youth in the world, especially that we are challenging, or facing or confronting the most critical challenges at all. As I have said in the beginning, we are at war, and we are facing wars of all sorts, except one sort, which is by weapons, which is not the sign of the time. Wars of this age of time is not by weapons, and of course the Russian-Ukrainian war is an exception, but the main wars that are going throughout the world right now is economically and mentally. The war of sources of power, sources of fortunes. So we need our youth to use their own capabilities to be our weapons to fight those challenges with. I believe that education needs to be tackled upon so many times, and even more times than we have ever did before. We need for the new generation to be educated. Who is our enemy? This is a very important thing here. If if we find that the Egyptian student, what does he study about our own enemy? Our enemy number one, that is the Zionist existence. We would find he studies so little about it, and so little than we should and he should know about that enemy, the same enemy that is studying about Egypt, each and everything. And that enemy, the student of the enemy in Tel Aviv, in the Zionist existence, studies and be cultivated in his mind that Egypt is his enemy, and Egypt is his land, and our own land is his. That's the enemy, how the enemy thinks, and how the enemy cultivates in the mind of his student. To confront this, we should have the same and even more, and we have the right. This is our land to defend. How can we defend our land when our student doesn't know anything about the true enemy of Egypt, which Israel? I believe that there is a gap between the military education that is teaching the children, teaching the students how Israel is our own the main enemy, the enemy number one to Egypt, as we have this gap between the military education and the military courses, as the soldier being taught, the academies, the Nasser Academy, how it teaches our own students and prepare them for the coming war. As we have this gap between this military and the civilian education that teach them nothing about what the real enemy for Egypt since more than 1,000 or 2,000 years. We have our conflict since a long time, and we should be prepared by true education, strong education. Also, we have to tackle upon connecting the outcome of the education with the scientific fields, and connecting the scientific fields with factories, with the Ministry of Industry, which is led right now by one of the leaders, the military leaders, Mr. Kamil al-Wazir. As you remember, I told you always, we need such symbol, such a strategy in each and every post in the ministry. We need a military personnel leading the civilians in most of the ministries. This is the main strategy, because we are at war. If we read the reports about each and every regime around us, we would find that we are surrounded by the enemy bases right in the heart of Gulf, and there is a new enemy base, American enemy base in Palestine, by Gaza shore. We are confronting the surrounding American bases, American military bases that are directed to Egypt, not to Iran, as some would think. They are directed to Egypt as a support, as a Western support to Israel. So that's why we are not at peace. We're not living in a world of peace or a time of peace. This is a time of war. It takes a strong strategy concerning educating each and every student of us, each and every member of the new generation, to be prepared for this war coming.
Right. On this note, of course, Mr. Amr Abdel Rahman, the political and economic analyst, would like to thank you, sir, talking to us on the Breakfast Show, and you have a good day. Now we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue the Breakfast Show, so stay with us.